When you put yourself out in public, if you're thinking about vlogging, you gotta understand this. There are going to be people that misinterpret and misunderstand what you say. And because of that, you have to be kind of slow and long, because you got to make sure that you're covering all the aspects that people that aren't really listening very closely are going to misinterpret. And it doesn't happen very often because we tend to be very clear. But sometimes it's possible to not be as clear as you should have been, especially when you're interviewing somebody else. I just felt like I owed our regular followers an explanation as to why I might be a little bit long, that we're trying to help people. We're trying to help people because that's the kind of people we are. And we want to be helpful.
Remember, honey,
and we want to be honest.
Our agenda is to instruct and inform.
Agenda is to inform. So our point is to be honest. So what else is there to talk about today? We're just wrapping things up and on our way back to our $300 Salinas house. Thank God we found what we need and want. 5 years later, we're still going to be living in Ecuador within our means on a local level. I don't know if there really needs anything more to be said about that, because clearly that should be in and of itself an encouragement to those that are planning a similar move, don't have unlimited funds. But I do want to say this. It would seem to me that the majority of people don't have unlimited funds, right? I mean, as a percentage, right, of the population, the majority of the people are on a certain budget. But what happens to these places is that everybody's reading the same offshore newsletters.
There's only a few.
Yeah, the same handful of offshore magazines, retirement newsletters, whatever. These people aren't really pitching to the budget crowd. They're pitching to the wealthy, semi-wealthy, however you want to look at it. As a group, they make up a pretty good sized number. They say the number of millionaires in the U.S. is about 20 million. And the majority of people retire in their own place, in their own country. That makes the most sense. As far as retirement goes, that makes the most sense. That's why we've made other videos where we said people come out here for the wrong reasons. A lot of times people have spent their whole lives spending an imbalanced amount of time devoted to work. Now, guys, don't get upset at me. I don't mean, that's not a judgment, okay? This is just what people do. Not everyone. The reason for saying that is that when retirement comes around, they want to do all these things that they haven't been able to do. That's understandable. Makes a lot of sense. This is why... Hola, buenos días.
Hola.
¿Cómo está? ¿Todo bien?
Todo bien.
Qué bueno.
¿Dónde paseo?
Paseo muy bien.
Bueno. ¿Dónde va? ¿Hasta dónde va?
Vamos acá en 4 bloques,
Ah, acá.
donde vivimos.
Buen día, buen fin de semana.
Somos buenísimos grincanos. This is an excellent interchange and exchange right here with the local. There's so much to say about this stuff, guys. If there's any particular subject people want to hear about as far as our slant, our experience, our knowledge, let us know in the comments, because I've got so much information to talk about. For example, this exchange that just took place, personality-wise, let's talk about personality. Terminology like extrovert, introvert. I personally, if I use that terminology, I'm using it as a reference, not... Sorry guys, it's really rackety here. If I say, perhaps you're introverted, that's like putting a label on someone. Because I truly believe that you have it within you to acclimate yourself if you want to. So you have to have the desire, just like anything else in life. Here's what moving abroad does. If If your mind's a rubber band, it gets stretched to the limit. You've got to allow that. If you're real rigid, for example, maybe the town you're from, you've never walked around and said hello to everybody and smiled. Does that mean you can't do it? No. Maybe you'd like to do it. That's what moving abroad is like. The U.S. culture is a car culture, generally speaking, except for New York, maybe a couple other places. But generally speaking, U.S. culture is a car culture. And I think that that disconnects us from our fellow people.
So there's computers, email.
I realize people
Facebook.
go to work. People go to work and they have a work culture. Outside of that, Central and South America is the complete opposite of that. It's a personal interaction culture. I've said that in other places, but it's worth repeating. It's a personal interaction culture. It's all about how you interact with people. For example, I know you guys love these examples. I was negotiating on a property in Salinas. I didn't like the terms. They were very unfavorable, let's just leave it at that. And I brought this up to the agent and I said to him straight out, I said, you know full well the majority of landlords here do not return deposits. Now, guys, I'm not picking on anyone. I've had U.S. landlords not return deposits. Again, it's how it comes down to experience. When I was young, I was inexperienced. I didn't realize this. And some landlords didn't return my deposits even when they had no justifiable reason. Live and learn, right? Because they wanted the contract to be slanted in such a way that I know in advance I'm going to be the loser. I like to shake hands and be win-win. I brought this up to him, and he's making all these reasons, and he says, and his solution was, well, I'll tell you what you do, he says, just sign the contract anyway.
I think we want to cross here, guys.
And then just don't pay the rent. Just don't pay the rent. If your alarm bells aren't going off yet, I'm not done. The second solution was you could sue him. He actually said you could sue him. Now, everybody has their own way of dealing with people, right? This is what I'm coming to. I have come to the conclusion through my experiences in life of certain principles that I live by, and I won't violate if I can help it. As much as it depends on me, I won't violate these principles, and it's this. I am not interested in being confrontational, because that's what suing is. I'd rather put everything on the table, be honest about it, and get an agreement. Now, if we don't agree, we've got to walk, right? But this is what culture does to you. In the U.S. culture, you think that you're protected by relying on the law. Now, hold on a minute. What I'm saying is, I rely on my judgment and my experience. And my experience dictates I don't want to go in front of strangers and have them decide what's right and wrong for me. Rather, I would rather avoid conflict in the first place, because that's what I've learned is the best thing to do in order to live a peaceful life. Now, if living a peaceful life is not your goal, which it should be, in my opinion, go ahead. Go to court and sue landlords. Go live abroad, live your dreams, and have conflicts with locals, and go to court and all this business. That's insanity to me.
Be unhappy.
That's insanity. So, I told that to him. I said, no, if I don't pay the rent, I'm initiating a confrontational situation. Who knows? I don't know the people. Maybe they'll start cutting off utilities. Who knows how they'll react, right? But I'm precipitating confrontation, and I'm not interested in that. So here's what I want to do. I want you to understand what I need, and I need you to give in a little here. They wouldn't do it so well. But I'm just saying that a lot of that North American culture is migrating over here. Guys, I'm just giving you an insight here. You don't want to move abroad and have problems, do you? I made a video about, what was that video titled on our ministry YouTube? Something about the kingdom of heaven. Go watch that video and you'll get a better insight in what I'm trying to say here, because when you talk about controversial subjects, the potential for misunderstanding is real high. You know what they say about politics and religion, but to get a clear message through, go watch that video. We'll let you in on our experiences as much as possible. If there's anything else you would like clarified and gone into detail, let us know. We'll do the best we can. Just leave in the comments. It's a pleasure vlogging, and we appreciate you being interested in what we're saying. And people are slowly realizing what it's really all about. That's why we're here.